Welcome, everyone. We're backstage at the Gramercy Theatre with Michelle from
Voivod.
Playing today with Napalm Death, Exhumed, and Iron Reagan. How are you feeling?
I'm great, actually. This tour is absolutely fantastic.
Awesome. So my first question, I was really curious, what has been the worst smell that you've smelled thus far on tour?
Thus far, you mean on all the tours?
Sure, yeah.
Well, once a guy at the a border patrol guy opened a laundry bag of one of the members of the band to see if there was anything in it, and he choked. That was pretty raunchy. That's the worst I got.
Did your band member shit his pants?
Oh, no, but once there was one, he had a very bad flu type of virus in Europe, and he had to wear a diaper on stage in case.
Who was it?
True. Oh, no.
You have to.
I'm not allowed to say who. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He would be really mad at me.
So now we can all assume that you all had the flu and you all had to wear diapers on stage.
It could be anybody but me.
So, where are you from originally?
Montreal.
Montreal.
Canada, yeah.
Okay, Canada, cool.
We're French Canadian. We're actually from northern Quebec, but we moved to Montreal in '85.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what your accent was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's called joual. It's some kind of a slang, I guess.
All right, so what other issues did Border Patrol give you?
Oh, well, throughout the years, well, all kinds, like that's oh, you can go ahead, Robin. I was just actually a bit puzzled by what kind of answer. Yeah.
Do you have any questions of Robin?
It's a tough one because that involves compromising material. Nope, I can't answer this one.
So, do you like to pregame before shows?
Not really. Like pregame, like a warm-up type of cheering up type of. Is that what you're saying?
No, like drink.
No. I do drink a beer during the show to calm my nerves, but I don't go on stage drunk.
Do you get nervous on stage?
Yeah, I still do. So that's why I have one beer or two. That's my daily ration of beer.
So, what advice would you give to bands that are starting up and they have serious issues with their nerves?
An advice against nerves. Oh my God. I don't know. The best I can say is not to worry too much, and then it's gonna be fine. You're the best.
That's awesome. What's your favorite American food?
That would be. I don't know. Like one thing for sure, I'm gonna try the New York pizza next door. Yesterday we stayed at the Napalm Death's friends, and their mother did American apple pie. It was amazing. I had a lot of it.
Do you have a sweet tooth?
Yes, I tried to control myself.
Yeah, that's probably a good thing. So, do you think that mixed drinks are for bitches, or do you actually like mixed drinks since you have a sweet tooth?
Oof. I mean, I do like sweet shooters, but after like a bunch, it's really dangerous. Yeah, you just want to puke, so keep away from it. But I would say the White Russian or B-52s are my favorite.
May I ask something? So you can keep it on him. Would you like to talk about how the Angel Rat album had some difficulty when it first came out, but now that it's out of print, everybody wants it?
I don't know why. I mean, yes, I do actually. It was a bit of a continuation from Nothing Face, but on the other end, it was like a departure, and it was not accepted by everybody into Voivod, but it has been rediscovered, and now copies are rare, and people are really looking for them. But it is a very strange album. It's like in terms of trying to be a little more pop and commercial, I think it's the furthest we went.
And would you like to maybe talk about some hostility toward Voivod when the album came out?
Not necessarily hostility, but everybody was waiting for Nothing Face Part 2, and we did a real atmospheric album, and with more psychedelia, a bit of goth rock in there, and there were a whole lot of people into thrash metal that didn't get it, that's for sure.
All right, let me turn the interview over to Sarai, who now asks some questions about your Nazi history.
So, tell me about your Nazi history.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Do I have a Nazi history? No? Okay. I actually... I mean, you know, when I discovered crusty punk as a kid, I got to learn a lot about that, and more than at school, actually, and really not into the fascist scene, that's for sure.
Yeah, fuck Hitler.
I did.
The imagery will probably always be appealing to some people, but I mean, you know, in the 80s, everybody into metal and punk had a lot of problems with skinheads in Montreal, and luckily it seems to be like, for North America anyway, part of the past. I don't know, unless they're hiding somewhere.
Sarai is actually learning audio engineering, and perhaps you'd like to turn the interview over to something of that flavor, Sarai. You do have a drummer here, and I've heard many times that it's impossible to get a good snare sound. And how did both of you feel about that?
A good snare sound. It would probably help the sound man or the engineer a lot if I knew how to tune it.
Well, first of all, you need a drum key to tune the snare, because a lot of people just have no idea what they're doing with the snare tuning, and usually for like metal and rock and stuff, it kind of, after the initial attack, the decay kind of goes down in pitch.
It's either if you tune the bottom skin too low, it's gonna go ew, and if you do the opposite, it's gonna go whirring or ping, 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 like in certain alternative rock bands, you know. But I don't have the perfect ear like the bass player and the guitar player in my band have. So it takes me a long while to tune it, unfortunately, but I do my best.
That's good.
Well, the other thing is, would you say that you're a stamina drummer or you're purely technique?
Oh, I have absolutely no technique. I did one drum solo. It was the first show, and I begged the other guys like, I don't want to do a drum solo ever again, please. I just hit it like I feel. I'm really not technical at all, and I wouldn't know how to. Like many people ask me, do you give drums lessons? You know, I wouldn't know where to start. I learned like listening to. Beatles and Kiss and whatever, and moved to like Sex Pistols and Led Zeppelin, and then moved a lot of progressive rock, and then like Discharge and GBH, and Motorhead was a huge influence. But I always went with the feeling like Filthy Animal Taylor, I think is the best drummer, and it's not that technical at all. It just goes like, it's almost like a rock and roll twist drummer, you know?
There's a joke about drummers where supposedly if you're a drummer, it's the only instrument you could play without knowing anything about music. How do you feel about that joke?
I'm perfectly okay with it. I heard about the fact that drummers are not musicians. To me, it's just a way to get rid of the anxiety after watching the news. So I'm not really like pretending that I'm a musician. I'm a rock and roll drummer, and I do drawings, and that's about it.
So you get stressed out while you watch the news, and I'm not making fun of you in any way because I do too. Like there's some mornings where I have to shut it off because CNN gets way too depressing. It's like, let's learn about what shitty happened today in the world.
Yeah, and plus nowadays everybody is in the middle of like the action with cameras and live on TV, or we know everything that's going on online, you know, and there is a feeling that the globe is going out of control, but it's also really hard to tell because there is a lot of disinformation and propaganda, so it's confusing, and it stresses me out, and so playing drums is the best for that.
So is that the only outlet that you use to let out stress, playing drums, or are there other ones that you enjoy?
When I draw, for the band, it's really soothing for me.
Speaking of which, Sarai says that computer art is not art. Would you like to yell at her about that statement?
That's not true. That was Bill.
Bill, no, no, it's okay I mean, live and let live is my thing, you know. If you don't think it's art, for me, it came very handy because I did the first 4 Voivod album covers with acrylic painting, and I had no idea how to do that. And these were the only 4 paintings I did, actually. And it would take me months, and it was very detailed, and I had to sort of create my own technique. And after a while, I bought an old Commodore Amiga computer to do digital art, and all of my friends were a bit they said I was cheating and all that, but of course nowadays everybody's doing digital art with Wacom tablets and all that. That's the way, you can't fight progress.
Sarai, as an audio engineer, do you have any questions about triggers? I keep hearing that word, and pro and con of that. Do you have any opinion?
I mean, whatever everyone is comfortable with, in my opinion. I don't know. How about you?
It's the same as digital or not, you know. If you want to use triggers, it probably fits your style and your music. And for me, it's a different thing. And I prefer like the old acoustic approach, like Led Zeppelin or punk, or you know. And so that's my thing. But I don't mind Fear Factory and all these bands that do use trigger. It has its appeal, I would say.
I agree. I mean, whatever everyone's comfortable with, right?
Exactly, and I wouldn't pretend to judge anybody for using triggers. I don't mind the sound of it actually. It's just not my style. I like the dynamics of using the acoustic, and you know, it's if you play softly, it's soft. If you play really hard, it's hard, and you can have a flow that's different than the very mechanical, technical feel of machinery that a lot of the bands used in the 90s and still today.
How involved are you in the post-production, and were there any recordings that you were very angry about the sound?
Well, there were albums like Roar, second album. I was not too sure of the mix and all that, and but I would never touch it because it's really representative of '86, and so I'm good with that. It's the same with Angel Rat, which is a bit soft, and I wouldn't touch it. Maybe these albums need to be remastered to boost the frequencies and also some gain, but I would not remix it because let's say I bought a greatest hits of the Doors and it was remixed, and the drums are so clear and loud that I feel uncomfortable listening to it because I'm so used to what I always listen to, you know, and so a good remastering job is great, but remixing classics, or not to say that Voivod have classic albums, but I think they need to stay like they are.
Would you like to ask Sarai any questions and maybe use the word tabernacle in the question?
Oh boy, what am I getting into right now?
It's okay. Tabarnak is like a swearing word from Quebec, and it's so well spread, so spread around. In Mexico, they call us El Tabarnacos or Los Tabarnacos. I can't remember, but it's just a word that people say all the time because in Quebec, there was a lot of religious oppression for many, many, many years, and the way to rebel was to use religious words like hostie, the little bread that you eat, and
The Jesus bread.
yeah, and the tabarnak. People usually say tabarnak more than once in one sentence, but
Well, go ahead. Ask her a question using that word or another Montreal swear word.
in French or
You can say it in French and she will answer in Polish. That'll be cognitive dissonance. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Chris de bonne poutine, tabarnak. So you can answer in Polish, and it doesn't matter if it's.
Man,
it's a tough one. I think I'm gonna.
this is terrible. Now I know how. I feel so on the
Ask him a question in Polish then, using the word tabernacle.
I don't even know what the fuck tabernacle means.
It means like Jesus Christ.
Oh, okay.
Or holy fuck. Something obnoxious that has a Christian or religious connotation to it.
Do you have any thoughts on the Fantasia Film Festival?
Yeah, it's a great festival. I love it, and a lot of good animation movies. horror movies, and we even had a fake documentary about Voivod who won a prize there. It's called Panorama. It's pretty funny. You can watch it online. So yeah, I love this festival, that's for sure. It also happens in a very nice theater, the Imperial Theater. It's a great place in Montreal. Marie a un petit mouton. That's really what they say. Marie a un petit mouton. Well, I'll say it like that was in Quebec language. In real French, Marie a un petit mouton.
So, you made a difference between the Quebec French and the French French.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard French people say that Quebec French is 14th century. Could you talk about the difference?
It's true. It's the very, very old French, when they moved to Quebec, sort of stuck. And it evolved into something else in France. But we have the very old French going on, mixed with a bit of North American English, and many people call it Franglish. And so it's really, especially in Montreal, it's a mixture of both. The west of Montreal speak English, the east speak French, and in the middle, downtown, it's a mixture of both. It's quite interesting, actually.
If someone were to read a French classic literature, would Quebec French be more accurate, or would the French in France be closer?
Well, I mean, that's a tough one. I think that everything at school is written in the French. There's nothing like the old French in the books at school. It's just the way we pronounce it and skip some letters and stuff. So it's a real slang. It's called joual. It comes from cheval, horse. Joual.
Would Quasimodo speak Quebec French or
if Quasimodo would speak joual, there'd be a lot of tabarnak going on, I'm sure.
All right, so I must warn the two of you that we have maybe 2 minutes if we're going to observe the time limit.
Okay, so I have one last request of you. So because Mary Had a Little Lamb didn't work out, did your mother ever sing you any nursery rhymes in French, in Quebec French or French that you may sing for us?
Well, yeah, Frère Jacques is a real popular one. Fait dodo is another one. But you know what? I really don't sing at all. I never did. I'm sorry.
What if we sing it together? I don't even know the words.
You really want me to sing, but
yeah.
I ain't going to end up on a DVD while singing. I'm sorry. I will regret it, and then I'll try to reach you online. Hey man, could you
let us reverse
edit
something.
out that part?
Why don't we have Sarai sing Mary Had a Little Lamb while you play percussion on your lap? Improvise. You want to try that?
No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
All the other stuff I can do.
All right, so I guess we have a minute or so, or do you just want to? Is there anything that Sarai should have asked you?
Is there anything you'd like to throw out there for your fans?
Well, I mean, just that it's been a couple of slow years, but this year there is a barrage of 7-inch coming out from us and a lot of touring. So that's all I wanted to say, just so they don't worry too much.
All right, any special plugs, websites and stuff like that?
Oh, just the usual voivod.com. We do have a Facebook page that's really busy. That's about it.